What is up, guys? It is the Sound Alchemist, and I'm joined here by the lovable, squishable...
First one.
What you got in your mouth, boy?
A grape. A green grape.
And with that, we have come back to bring you another episode of For the Greater...
Grapes!
Oh, okay. I put my mouth up so you guys wouldn't see what's in my mouth. Whatever, you guys probably saw it either way. So, I apologize ahead of time, but 'tis the season.
Speaking of seasons, we have a grotling in the studio today. Is this a studio?
I mean, yeah, kind of, I guess.
Whatever you want to call it.
I sleep here.
So if you hear snottling noises, coughs, burps, chewing, that's why.
Yes. This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put question for your question because we'll get to those questions first.
And that question is?
Yeah, it's by No Great Goat. I love goat cheese. How are Inquisitors chosen? And is it possible for Space Marines to leave their chapter for the Inquisition? So first off, an Inquisitor is chosen. Usually they are the offspring of some type of Imperial officer that has passed away. If your mom and dad dies in the Imperium and they were like a Navy commander, if they were something important, what ends up happening is that you go to the Schola Podrinium. Yeah, it's like a special school where Inquisitors, Commissars, Sisters of Battle, they're basically, all of them are taught. And depending on what the strengths are of that pupil, it goes into different directions, like the Inquisition.
So if my pupil is like 20/20, where would I go?
That means you have good eyesight, so you would be an astropath, you would be killed on sight.
Oh. Imperium.
Ding! And then, could the Space Marine just split away from the chapter? No.
I don't think there's Space Marines in the Inquisition. Unless you call the Grey Knights or the Custodies.
Yeah, or the Minotaurs, stuff like that.
Yeah. There's always exceptions.
Those guys, but they're not part of the Inquisition. Those guys are the Ordo Militant of them. So, like, they're like the attack dogs. But at the end of the day, an Inquisitor still...
that kind of reigns over them.
Yeah, it's kind of like... Yeah, it's like saying the FBI and the Army.
The CIA.
Yeah, the CIA or the Army, or the CIA or the Navy. Like, they're separate.
But equal.
Are they, though? Anyways, yeah.
Jeffrey Robinson. So the Kattan were broken into shards, and there were multiple Kattan. So, what if the Necrons were fighting a Chaos God, and they released all the shards of one of the Kattan at once? Would the Kattan reform with all the shards released? And if so, can a Kattan kill a Chaos God, since the Kattan eat gods? So first and foremost, yes, you are right. Kattan did become shattered into multiple shards. With that being said, you can summon multiple Kattan per shard, or you can summon one really strong Kattan by combining the shards together. So yes, you can literally just throw shards everywhere and you'll have like 20 different Kattan. They're easier to control and they're weaker, but when you combine them together, like shard on shard, the sum is great. No, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. So just because you have two Kattan by themselves, they're weaker, but combined, they're going to be stronger than both the Kattan by themselves would be. And if they fight against Chaos, yeah, they're going to do good, but at the same time, they're weak against Chaos. Yes, they ate other gods, but by eating other gods, usually the Kattan ate themselves, or they ate stars, planets, solar systems, civilizations. However, they did not eat gods. So yeah, they are weak against Chaos, so if they were to fight against Khorne, Tzeentch, they'd be at a disadvantage, even if they are completely uncharted.
Exactly.
Which is why Vol, when he fought against the Void Dragon, Vol being the god of the Eldar of the Forge, there was a really tough fight, even though they were kind of on equal playing fields, and that's what the whole thing with the pylons and whatnot. So yeah.
What's interesting is that in the new lore for the Blackstone Fortress, they say that Vol was an old one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, is that a retcon?
Well, no. So I think because they explain it that the mythology of the Eldar has been so convoluted now to the point where like they do think that they're gods, but in reality they were old ones. And actually, because Vol has weapons, right?
He made the Crone swords.
Yeah.
Crone swords, if you didn't hear me. Crone swords!
but he also has, well, basically they're the Blackstone Fortresses. Spoiler alert: Blackstone Fortresses are weapons of Vol. Next question comes from Sven Bjorboom.
Good try.
If the old ones would return one day, would the orcs side with them, or would they not recognize them and just attack? Not recognize them and attack. If you, because what we were just talking about with the Eldar mythology, like the Eldar are a race that is extremely like they're very detail oriented, and they actually hold on to their past relics and whatnot. And even they don't remember the old ones. They still believe that the mythical gods were the old ones. The orcs are the exact opposite. The orcs basically throw away everything that they get once they're done with it, so they're not going to remember. The old ones are just going to attack them. And then, of course, the old ones would understand.
They created them, so they know.
Yeah.
The ins and outs, their tendencies, their strengths and weaknesses.
We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Next question.
Kevinator, 199. Is the Army of Light fighting chaos in the warp, or are they just chilling with the big E? You know, waiting.
I think they're fighting, and I think that's what the Legion of the Damned are doing. I think that's what Celestine is doing. I think that's their way of fighting.
We'll see.
Next question comes from Conrad Graybeck. My dog is yellow and fat. Which chaos god possessed him? Greetings from Poland.
I don't know why, but I thought of that like meme dog. Not the one on fire, the one that's just like kind of like sitting there and fat and yellow.
I don't know what meme that is.
I'll show you later.
So yeah, what chaos god with a yellow?
I mean, he's fat, so he's getting excess. Slanesh maybe?
Yeah, I would say Slanesh as well. And I love Poland. All three parts that I've been to. Alright, next question.
Juan G. What would happen if the warp literally just relaxed? Like, for no reason, the Chaos God just disappeared and the warp goes back to its original state.
There's still a bunch of other Xeno races and Xeno empires that are going to be a threat to the Imperium. Also, he said, what did he say? He said that it disappears?
Well, like chaos disappears, but the warp just kind of chills out.
Oh, okay, yeah. Then it means like a new, no, it's like a rebirth for the Eldar. Because that's what the Eldar have been waiting for. They've been waiting for Slanesh to go away. And now that they're gone, they're the ones that actually know what the webway is. They know how to deal with it. I think they would, come back and fight. And the Necrons would also, I think, start awakening too. Because they would be like, oh, shit. The Eldar. Because there's, enemies on top of enemies on top of enemies on top of enemies. Isn't that crazy?
Stacks on stacks on stacks.
No, it's not crazy.
Not crazy at all. Next question comes from Michael Howell. Oh, we've asked... Well, we've already asked or talked about this. How about Doubt the Fire? Is there any rubric Dreadnought still operational?
I believe so. Well...
I mean, if they're playable on the tabletop, then yeah.
I mean, but they're only playable in 30k.
Oh, really? They don't have a 40k?
I don't think they have 40k rules. I guess you could use it as a Contemptor Dreadnought. Because they look really badass. I was this close to almost purchasing one.
What stopped you? You don't have a Zinch army yet?
Well, building it and painting it. Because obviously I'd build it and paint it in the colors of my Celestial Sons. But I'm not a good painter. And the minis I have, they've all been commissioned. So they're to a certain standard. And if I were to do it, it just looked out of place because it looked crappy. So that's why. Which is why I haven't jumped and gotten Alfarius yet. Because I got to have it commissioned. But he's coming.
I'll do it for you. It's only taken me 3 years to prime these orcs.
Shoot, 3 years is better than never.
Next question. I have one from Michael Blythe. Why isn't Sly Marbo as badass on the tabletop as he is in the lore?
There's got to be some kind of balance.
Yeah, it's a good answer. Better than what I was going to say.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say because the internet decided to make Sly Marbo a badass, not GW. GW doesn't care about us. It's a Michael Jackson reference. Next question comes from Jim Dighton. What happens when a Kroot consumes a Chaos Space Marine? Also, what if they eat a Tau? I know it's taboo for the Kroot to eat the Tau.
Yeah, it's taboo because the Ethereals mandated it. Why? Who knows? Probably because it has something to do with the mind control stuff.
Maybe. Maybe because they just don't want people eating their people.
True.
And now what about the Chaos Space Marines?
I think they don't eat chaos because of the whole chaotic taint and whatnot.
They get stomach pains?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Ulcers.
Next one.
This one is by AR to Kill. If they ever survive, does the Imperial Guard have any chance of retirement and to live a better life after fighting?
Yeah, but usually it's that's only like the highest level of the Imperial Guard, or if you are a, what are they called? What's that regiment called that I did a facts video on?
Is it the ones that are hated by everyone?
Yeah, what are they called? What are they called?
The Scintillion Fusiliers?
There you go, the Fusiliers.
Fusiliers.
If you're one of those guys, you're already so rich that like you just have to probably fight in one campaign and then you can retire.
And then you brag about that one campaign you fought in.
Yeah, yep. Last question. I have one from Jim Dighton again. Is there any lost Chinese colonies in space? I think it would be cool if there was a Chinese colony that maintained its traditional culture and was advanced.
I think the closest thing to that would probably be the home planet of the White Scars. Shagoris, I believe that's what it's called.
Maybe, yeah. They're kind of like Mongolians, though.
Yeah, I guess that's, yeah.
Yeah. An actual, like... Because during the Unification Wars, wasn't there a China equivalent to the Unification Wars? Because I know there was like in Africa. There was also a like Middle East. But yeah. So maybe.
Yeah, I mean, space is huge. There's warp storms everywhere. Maybe when they go away, something happens.
Maybe. Those are the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, comment down below. Thanks for listening, guys. See you tomorrow.
This is the Sound Alchemist.
Gershwan.
We are out of here.
Oh, if you took up my freedom.